All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back. Happy Wednesday, special edition. So here's the deal. Jen and I recorded. We released the podcast on Monday. I don't know if anybody listened. If you did, I apologize because somehow the audio got messed up, and like a third or a quarter of the way through, my mic obviously just cut out and there was nothing. On my end, when we published the episode, I could see my track and I had no clue that it was blank. For some odd reason, because I listen to the episodes as I publish them. Jen knows that, or as I edit them, rather. So I know what's in there. So it's rare that I go back and listen to an episode. But for some reason, I was like, let me throw this episode on and see how it was. So I put it on like 1.5 speed, hit play, and it starts going through. And then all of a sudden, you're talking, Jen. And I'm like, she's talking for a long time. And then I'm realizing these pauses are long. And then I'm realizing there's no me.
So hopefully you didn't listen to a whole episode of just me talking, and yeah, that would be hilarious.
I don't think it would have made any sense. So I don't think anybody made it through the episode. So anyways, this episode is going to release on Wednesday because we're replacing Monday's episode. So here we are. I've never dealt with that issue before. My bad. One thing that was cool, and we're not going to be able to recreate this, there's no way to recreate it, is that Jen and I kind of disagreed. And there was a point in there. There was a point in there where it kind of got like chippy.
Yeah. I had to actually apologize for being a brat.
And so it wasn't a big deal, but I thought it would be cool to leave it in because that's what's real. It's not always unicorns and rainbows and perfect. And when we sit down and do these podcasts, most of the time we agree because we're talking about stuff for our business, but sometimes we don't. And it's really rare. I don't know in 200 plus episodes that we've caught something like that.
No, that was the first. So sorry you guys missed it.
Yeah, but go us, because here we are. We did over 200 episodes and we haven't really gone at each other like that. And it wasn't even anything crazy. It was just on the fly. I disagreed with something Jen said and she didn't get what I was saying. And then I just played into it. And then she played into her part, which was, as you said, Jen, being a brat.
Yeah.
But anyways, so today we're talking about staff retention.
Yes.
And how to maintain a team. Mm-hmm. How to grow and maintain a team, I guess. So, do you have anything to add before we jump in?
No, I'm ready to go whenever you are.
All right, let's get ready and let's start with our
opening takes.
That was awesome.
Oh, geez.
All right, you want to go first?
I will go first, sure. So I was just scrolling through. I actually, over the summer, really try not to be on social media too much. Whatever I have to do to repost for the business in there and then get off and read a book. So that's kind of my goal. 2 books down this summer. So I'm actually hitting my goal, which is pretty proud of myself. But anyway, stumbled across this. And I think it's important to talk about because we do talk about this all the time about how being in the hair industry, it's customer service. And it seems to be forgotten often that we are a customer service industry. And I see often it turn about the hair pro, and it's all about how it affects me, what you're not doing for me. And so this one just kind of, I guess it resonated with, I think, a lot of the banter I see, and I just wanted to speak to it. So this person, I don't know her, but anyway, she basically was talking to her audience and said, please be mindful of respecting my schedule like I respect yours. It goes into the cancellation policy and how she's had a lot of cancellations and she's been lenient on her policy. And then wants to remind you if she doesn't work, she doesn't get paid, and that your cancellation directly affects her income. Basically, you, and everything you're doing wrong and how it affects her. The next part that I think blew my mind is I was like, this is interesting. Let me see kind of what she's about. I think she's independent in a suite or something like that. But at her, all over her page, once you go on it, is that she is luxury. So I read this post, which first of all, if I was your client, I would cancel you. I would not be your client any longer because I think that's just super negative and it's all about you and not about me. And I'm the one paying you. And second,
it's the opposite of luxury.
So it doesn't match. Like if you're luxury, you're all about the client, you're all about the guest, it's all about them. And everything she posts is all about her. So those just don't match for me. Also, you're blaming your clients about you being lenient with your cancellation policy, which means it's your problem. I see this all the time. People have a cancellation policy and they don't enforce it 100% of the time. I think that means you need to reevaluate your cancellation policy because you need to treat everybody fairly. At our salon, we do it on it's a need basis because we would never be able to enforce something 100%. So we kind of look at different things, situations, if it needs to be enforced, or sometimes it just needs that the client and hello need to part ways. But we don't say it's 100% because you would never, ever do something 100% of the time. So I just thought it was kind of just a piece of information. Talk about it, think about it. Hopefully it resonates and maybe it gets some people to be like, whoa, I need to be more about my customer, more about my client. That's what I'm here to do, to serve them. And also maybe you look at your cancellation policy, and if you can't enforce it, that's on you. And that would mean you need to change that policy to something that feels comfortable, what you can enforce. That's my spiel.
Excellent. Agreed. Mine might be a little long, but that's okay because it's Wednesday. So my opening take is that more often than not, the simplest solution is the best answer. And where does this come from? Sometimes I want to help people, if you couldn't tell. So I'll post replies in Facebook groups and stuff, and I only post the truth, which are things that we've done or that we do. That's my rule. I'm never going to give someone some sort of like theoretical advice, which I see a lot. But anyways, I'll stay on track. The other day, I replied to a question about commission rates, and the other person, I don't know who it is because they all post anonymously. Anyways, they write to me, easier isn't always better. Because I broke down our commission structure. It's super simple, and I don't think people can grasp that. They want to think that it's harder because if it's harder, it means maybe you're smarter because you understand it or something. But yeah, so easier isn't always better. And I mean maybe, but probably not. So probably most often the simplest solution is quite literally the best solution. It's how it works in lots of other fields. Like in mathematics, people are looking for the most elegant solution, which is the simplest, right? Those are the most powerful equations, the simple ones. So also look at what CEOs of the largest companies do. They almost always simplify things. When a company is struggling, when a company is having a problem, a CEO, a good CEO will always or almost always simplify something, remove something. So what I want to do is take a look at Lego. Everyone knows Lego. How could you not? Lego is fun. So I don't know what year this was. Let's say, it's 2003. So not long ago. Lego was $800 million in debt.
Wow.
They were losing $1 million a day, right? What was the issue? They had too many products. They had too little focus. They started expanding into theme parks. They were doing clothing. They were doing merchandising. They were doing retail. They were doing all these things, and they lost their core, which is what makes Lego Lego. So their CEO, I'm not even going to attempt his name. I'll give it a go. Jorgen Vig Nudstorp.
Sounds good to me.
So he came in and he slashed 30% of their product lines and cut 1,000 jobs. And then he asked this question, is the problem Lego? And I think that's brilliant because we talk about when you have something going on in your business, it's your fault. When it's good, you take credit. When it's bad, you also need to take credit. You're the leader. Everything stops with you. He cut over 7,000 different types of bricks and went back to the essentials. And they doubled down on what fans actually wanted. So think about that again. Jen was just talking about your clients and making things about your clients. Lego started expanding and going into all these avenues when their customers didn't even ask for it. What were their customers looking for? They were looking for Star Wars. They were looking for Harry Potter. They were looking for story-driven sets. And they're saying that their revenue jumped from Star Wars alone, 35%.
Wow.
Just from that one thing. So what they did was they cut, they simplified, and they listened. And so they went from losing $1 million a day, which is insane. You couldn't even fathom that probably as a hair stylist, to the number one toy brand. There's our dog barking again. Awesome.
You got that on the last podcast, but we just thought we'd share that again.
Yeah. So the point of that little story is that complexity kills and focus wins. And you can argue all you want that simplest isn't always the best, but it's almost always going to be the best.
Absolutely.
And so also I post in those online groups because I like helping people. And I'm smart enough to understand that there's multiple approaches to each challenge, but I also understand that in that case, I'm right. So anyways,
I think it's great because I do see, I don't post in them. It's just not for me. But there's a lot of really bad information and a lot of people giving information on an opinion and not on fact. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that take those opinions and are using them to better their business when they have, it's not going to work. So I think it's great to be in those and try to help where you truly can, right?
all right, let's dive into. Yeah. So, real quick, also in those groups, yeah, I see a lot of terrible advice that you can tell people are either making up or it's just bad advice
Mhm.
or they're mimicking it from somewhere else. I see a lot of chat GPT stuff. Just either they'll say either check chat GPT or you can tell that their answer is just generated from chat GPT and they just copy and paste.
Mhm.
And then the other thing that I see is buy my course and that'll fix your problems. So I don't, there's so much free information out there. We do some mentoring that we charge for, but it's not like templates and whatever. It's just to help you work through whatever your
It's
specific
customized
problems
to the
are.
individual.
Yeah. So there's nothing for me to really sell. If people want that, if you want to work with us one-on-one to accelerate your progress because you have somebody that's checking in with you and that sort of stuff, we have that available, but I'm never going to push that. So yeah. Anyways, let's dive into this retention. We're talking about retention of staff,
Hmm.
retention of, and this could translate to renters too, I suppose.
Yeah,
We
I
run
mean,
a
we're
commission.
seeing retention issues on across the board, right?
Yeah, we run a commission salon, so that tends to be where we speak from. But Jen, you've been a renter. You rented for a while,
Hmm. Yeah,
so
before I started my first
have that
salon
experience
and a
as
few
well.
different places. Yeah. So the first thing I have on my list is interview always. So we currently are not hiring at the moment. We still though will take interviews. What I love about this and the position we're in is I probably unique, but it is really great. So we get, I think Todd could attest to this better than me, but every week a couple people coming out of school like, are you hiring? Are you hiring? Are you hiring? So we've always just interviewed anyway because we want to meet with these individuals. We want to understand the hair pros that are coming out of school, what the schools are teaching them, because every school's different, right? So what are they coming out with strengths and weaknesses? What are their wants and needs? Because they're coming out of school. They're the next generation in the hair pro industry. So we need to understand what they're looking for and again, what their skill level is so that we can see what we need to pivot in our business and how we need to innovate to meet the needs that we can, but also kind of make sure we're operating in a world that is able to kind of blend those together basically. But so what Todd will do is, hey, we're not hiring currently because that's our situation. But if you still want to meet, and 1 out of 5, 6, 7, a small percent will still meet, which is great because that's someone who's truly looking for us for a job that fits them, not just a job in any hair salon. But the goal here is to make relationships for the future. So the more people that you interview, you'll start to find, well, you'll get better at interviewing and you'll start to find different questions that start to curate what you're looking for in your business if you're not sure yet. But also you'll just get to meet and know what the schools are producing and what the needs are of the future hair pros. It's very important because you want to start to build these relationships because salons have turnover. It's just where it is. You don't have to like it, but it's in any business, there's turnover. So the more people you're interviewing, you're creating a streamline of different conversations and maybe future relationships. And I think that's really important. So even if you have a full staff, don't stop interviewing. If somebody's reaching out and they want a job, hey, we're full right now, but I'd love to meet. It's just keeping that interviewing process and that door open all the time. So when you do have the next turnover, you might have some people you interviewed that are kind of in the back of your mind that now you can reach out to and you have some sort of a relationship. It's not just this cold kind of like, I need to hire. Who am I hiring? You'll have some people that you're like, oh, they kind of sparked an interest with me. I'm going to reach out, see where they're at. So that's my first thing. And I think my last salon, we didn't do that. And whenever we would have turnover, we were spinning our wheels to try to catch up. I love what we're curating now. I think it's just great that we're always having people coming in, interviewing and shadowing. And it's great even for our staff to see because it gets them excited.
I'll add to that don't be discouraged when you offer to meet with somebody after telling them. So be honest and tell them that you're not hiring at the moment and bring them in, unless you are hiring, of course. But be honest with that. And then if people ghost you, don't take that the wrong way. That's on them. that's a missed opportunity for them.
Yeah, just move on.
And that's the type of person, that's the type of thinking that you're not interested in either, or you shouldn't be. Somebody that's only looking for a place to work they're not even searching for the right fit. So
Right.
we tell people all the time, it's nice to be picked, but make sure you're picking back.
Absolutely.
Make sure you're choosing the place that you're going to. Make sure that the salon or barbershop that you're going to, make sure their core values align with your core values. If things don't even make sense, don't do it.
Yes.
But the industry is, I don't like the word saturated, but there are a ton of people looking for jobs. So it's always interesting when people are struggling to hire, because I feel like in our area, maybe it's different. There are always people looking for jobs.
Yeah, constant,
So
coming out all the time.
you just have to figure out how to curate and how to extract the best ones, the diamonds in the rough, really. So quick story, we hired, I think this was 2 years ago.
Yeah, about
year and a half. I don't know. We hired 3. So we probably did 15 interviews.
Yeah.
Something like that.
We went to a
12,
career day
10,
at a local
15.
hair school and
Yeah.
met like 300 and something people that were in the school at the time.
I'm misremembering that. I thought it was like 120 something.
Oh, okay. It could
Maybe
have
it
been,
was
but it
300.
felt like a lot of people.
It felt like a lot. Yeah, regardless of the number.
I
was
felt
a
like it
lot
was
of
300 people, even if it was 100.
So out of that, we got like, say, 15 interviews. We narrowed it down to 3 that we thought were the best fit. And we were like, maybe 1 works out, 2 would be great. But you don't know. You don't always know in the beginning. So it's difficult. 1 girl left. It was the grass is greener syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And that happens. And best of luck. We wish her luck. No hard feelings. 1 girl decided she was going to be a bully. So we fired her, because bullying is trash and you're trash if you bully somebody. And 1 girl is kicking ass
Rockstar.
at our salon and now needs to be coached how to take care of herself, because she's getting really busy. And that's an important aspect of longevity, right? Don't always be afraid to take a shot at somebody, and don't always be afraid or discouraged rather, if they're like, no, I don't want to meet with you, or if they just ghost you, because that happens.
Understand you're going to put time into people that are going to leave. Like in this case, we knew with these 3 people,
Always.
like Todd said, we were hoping for 1. And at the time, I just couldn't tell which one was going to be the best fit, but I wasn't like, let's just see where it goes. You never know. I wasn't salty about the time that was invested, and we parted ways when needed. And then, like Todd said, 1 went somewhere else, but we ended up with the one that fit us best, and we're the best fit for her too. So it was great.
To get people into your business, I think the next thing you need to think about is opportunities, some sort of a career path. It's funny, I think it was in high school or middle school, we had a class that was called Career Paths, where we just like learned about careers. And we always took like those tests that would tell you what you were going to do.
That's awesome.
Do you ever take those? Like an aptitude test or something?
I think
they were
called, but I don't remember. Maybe.
Yeah. I got police or entertainer.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I don't remember taking that. Maybe I should see.
I don't do either of those things. Anyways, I think it's important to lay out not only your pay structure, because that stuff has to be transparent for people so that they understand completely. I've ran into issues before with other businesses where people didn't understand the pay. And I was like, how do they not understand this? It's so easy to understand. But that was my inexperience. Clearly, it was on me to explain it if I was the manager at a restaurant, or if I was whatever, owning a gym or whatever. But I remember those things happening, and that falls on you, because things need to be crystal clear. And you need to assume that nobody has common sense. Don't assume anybody has common sense. You'll be a lot better off. I'd rather go over things and be like, sorry if I'm annoying you and going over this for the 19th time, but I just want to make sure you really understand it. Or if they have questions, that will prompt them to ask them then, if that makes sense. And so what do opportunities look like? At our salon, the number 1 thing I can tell you right now is education. Because Jen, you do an apprenticeship program. There is almost daily some sort of form of education. And I'll let Jen talk about that in a minute. I'm sure you'll get into that. But other things are showing them a path forward. How do they get raises? What is that based on? What does that look like? Even if this is somebody that's brand new out of school, if you tell them, this is what I'm thinking for you, in 6 months, I want you to be here, because in 12 to 18 months, I want to do this. I want to be promoting you. For them to hear that sort of forethought is going to be like, wow, this person has a plan for the future.
Huge.
This person has a plan, period.
Yeah.
This person wants to promote. They just said they want to promote me. And it starts to build that relationship where they're excited now to be there because they're working towards something. They're not just working, doing hair, getting a paycheck, working,
Right.
doing hair, getting a paycheck. That gets old fast for anybody. You have to
Absolutely.
create something. We can talk about culture too, but you have to create something where people feel like they're part of something that's bigger than them. They're part of like a team.
I
Did
agree.
you have something?
But yeah, I think this growth opportunity is so important, especially now where you're seeing hair pros come out of school and they're like, do I rent a chair? Do I go in a commission salon? First and foremost, if they went out and rented a chair, if you can't show them the opportunity, they're like, well, these are the same thing. So the part of you showing them growth opportunity, you showing them how to promote themselves, you showing them how they're getting promotions, these are things that they wouldn't be able to do on their own coming out of school. So it makes it where it's like, whoa, I have so much opportunity here. Then it's going to be your job, though, in that 18-month period or however long you set out, to what's the next growth pattern for them and what's the next one after that. So we have people in all different categories of that, some coming in newer, some in the middle, some that we're creating growth opportunities to start educating at our salon. So there are so many ways that you can create opportunities, but the goal here is really to, for what, in my opinion, is to show them opportunity like that they wouldn't be able to do on their own. And for some, that's even price increases, because we've seen people go out on their own all the time and they are too afraid to raise their prices. Some of them lower it. So even if you're constantly talking about what's the next price increase in this, and I want to push you to this, with the right staff, that shows them that they would rather be nowhere else but with you. It's very, very important to be always showing them the opportunities.
And these don't have to be hair related opportunities. They can be. For example, Jen, you brought up our education. So we're building Hello Hair Pro, our own brand of education. And we've run classes in the salon where we've now passed the torch sort of to two of our stylists that we've promoted, and they get paid for those things. And then we've run a couple of small classes where we brought some people in from outside who paid to attend the class, and our staff gets paid for those opportunities as well. And they're generating, or they will be generating, that income. So if you're like, I can't afford to pay people, of course you can't. That's not how business works. If you're thinking that, you got to reset your thinking immediately, because you can only pay people what they generate. They have to generate income. It's you that have to guide them to how to build my clientele, how to build a successful career out of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing we do, we have somebody that deep cleans our salon for us who's on our staff. We had hired an outside company. It wasn't clicking. They weren't our vibe. And so we got rid of them. Rather than take over the cleaning again, we had someone on our staff that was like, I actually love cleaning. It's therapeutic for me. I'll come in after hours. And we pay them now. Does she come in once a month?
Mm-hmm.
So she comes in once a month and deep cleans the salon. It looks fantastic. It's absolutely wonderful to have her doing that. And she cares. She buys in because it's her work environment.
Mm-hmm.
So even something like that, it might seem silly and you might be like, that's not a ton of money for somebody. Why would they care? Let them worry. Let them have the opportunity first. You might have a staff that maybe they're all slightly older and they have children. They probably don't have time to clean. Maybe you have a staff that actually wants to get out for a couple hours, and that would be great for them. So you're getting them out for a couple hours and you're paying them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So you never know what's gonna pop up. So it's important to just have conversations with people constantly and be finding out what they want. What do they want? Not what do you want? Not I want you to work every Saturday.
Oh God.
With no days off. Find out what they want.
That's old school.
Yeah, true.
You had touched on education, so I guess I'll go there next. So I have this, and you can agree or not agree, and I'd love to hear opinions on it, but expect to hire out of school. I see so much like, how do I attract a seasoned stylist? How do I it's very
funny, Jen. I got an email the other day from a woman that owns a salon, and she was like talking about I'm trying to find like stylists with clienteles and whatever. And I'm like, yeah, those are your unicorns.
Yeah.
Those are rare.
Very.
Those don't exist regularly, because generally if somebody's super successful, they're set, they're happy where they are.
Yeah.
That's what makes you successful.
they come with another set of problems too. So if you're looking to hire someone seasoned with a clientele,
I mentioned this too.
they come with their own bad habits. They come with their own ego. They come with it just depends on what you're getting. And not always is that your best option. To me, if you expect to hire at a school, you come up with an education plan. You can help grow them and mold them, and they'll buy into your culture as long as you're crystal clear what that is. Like we talk about this in the podcast all the time. We have a mission, core values, vision. We go over that over and over with our staff, what we're doing next, the why behind what we're doing. And that younger generation, they want to be part of something. So they're excited to wow, they're doing this, they're doing that. They're including me on what they're doing. To an extent, we run the business, we take all the risks. So, there are certain things that they're not included, but for the most part, you're creating this culture organically by bringing in these younger hair pros coming out of school. And as you grow your team and these hair pros coming out of school become hopefully with you 1, 2, 3, we have some people with us since we opened 5 or 6 years, they start to help bring those younger people come in and remember, I was there too. You can shadow me, you can do this. And then before you know it, you have this organic education happening, like Todd said, daily. And you have your seasoned stylists that have been with you since the beginning and appreciate what you've done for them and see the growth, like we talked about, for their future. And it becomes this, I'll say a hamster wheel, but a great hamster wheel. But the idea of finding someone seasoned with a clientele is just, I'd say, get over it. And the sooner you move on from that and change your mindset and your focus, you'll attract what you need. If you keep that interviewing happening, if you create an education plan, if you want to have them assist first or whatever that looks like, and then be very clear when you're hiring them what that looks like. We use some assisting when people come on, really for, I think at most it's 3 months-ish. And then they just test out. And when they're ready to do stuff, they're on the floor doing that. It may not be everything at first, but there's always some strengths they come to us with. So once I can work on that for a small amount of time, they can at least do those services while we work on the other ones. But yeah, I think just to create your own education program to teach them out of school. And that's going to be from a skill set of technical to consultation to how to be more professional. They need all of these things. So you as a leader and an owner are going to have to take that on, or work with someone on your staff to be that team leader, and maybe they take over that for you.
For me, what it breaks down to is buy-in. When you have someone come in out of school and you just build them and help them grow, and I'm not talking just build their clientele, it's all the things like Jen just said. It's how to navigate life. We have people that are, in the position where now they're starting to look to buy properties and things.
Mm-hmm.
And we've done that. So we can give you a little bit of guidance there. And when you bring someone in, if you bring in a successful stylist, and this is not 100% across the board because nothing is, but the odds are they've built themselves, or they feel they've built themselves. They're just looking for a cool place to work. It might not mean they buy into your culture. It might not mean that they want to help you grow your business. They might just be looking for a chair to do hair and then go home. Not saying anything's wrong with that, but I see people wanting both sides of the coin, where they want the buy-in, but they also want the stylist that's established. And I don't know if that's probably even less common than finding someone to begin with.
Yeah.
Where else are we going with this?
So the next thing I have is having system and rules. We talk a lot about flexibility and freedoms that we offer our employees. With that, they understand the rules and how to basically what is expected of them. It's very important that we lay out expectations. And by doing that, we can allow them these flexibilities and freedoms within our business. So right now, this generation, if everybody wants off a Saturday, right? Which it happens. I rarely, but it does happen, or any day, we will just close that day. That's just where it is, because what would be the point to be like, nope, sorry, you have to work.
We ever had to do that?
I don't think it's ever happened, but it is a conversation that you and I have had with this flexibility and freedoms and understanding.
We've had it with our staff too.
Yeah,
we've told them, if all of you guys want it off, if you were the last person on a Saturday because everyone took it off, and then you got invited to the beach, and
just
if you don't have clients, or you had one client, you can maybe move the client, or you can whatever. It's again, it's an individual thing. So
Yeah. But we've also, having said that, we have to make sure the business is protected, that,
yes,
we're, like I said, we're the ones responsible for all the risk here. So with this flexibility and freedom, like I said, there are rules, there are systems in place that everybody understands how to follow. And that's why this works at Hello. Without that, it would be a free for all, which would not work at all. Right. So making
this
sure.
also goes back to curating your team. Because often what I'll see on, Facebook and on social media is that the younger generation, they don't want to do this, they don't want to do that. That's BS.
Right.
You're just not taking the time to find the right people.
Or leading them
How many
to get
times,
there.
Jen? How many times, Jen, does it happen where someone takes a day off and somebody jumps in to take that shift?
Yeah, we have that all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. So, and what I mean by that is if a shift opens up, we have young people that are like, hey, can I work that shift? Hey, is there a chair open on this day? Could I work?
Mm-hmm.
I have a couple people I can squeeze in. Can I work a few hours on this day? So I know, and these are people that are from teens to early 20s.
Yeah.
So
They're in that
I don't
generation
know,
that people are pointing fingers at and saying they're lazy. We don't have
I don't
that.
know what you're talking about. What that tells me is you're just not finding the right people. You might need help. Maybe you're just snap hiring because you're like, I just need bodies in here. Because I do see that a lot where people will say, I'm turning away business. Well, how long have you been doing hair? You should have had a system in place.
Right.
So, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just don't blame other people because that doesn't do anything for you. You can't always just go around talking about problems. Sometimes you have to find solutions and get to work.
All the time.
Talking about your problems constantly is like watching the news.
Yeah.
Did you ever see solutions on the news? No. You just see them talking about problems because it's what sucks you in. It's negativity. So it's like this downward spiral. And when you start doing the echo chamber thing on Facebook, where you're like, well, the younger generation, I'm struggling because they won't work and I'm turning away business. That's just not true. It's not their fault. Need to find better people, or you need to be clearer about your expectations or whatever. I don't know, because it's individual, but
right. You need to be a
either way,
better leader. It starts with you either way, whether you like it or not. You have to lead your team by what you do.
Yeah, for sure. I think too, I don't know where you were with your thoughts, but we had talked about systems and we talked about a little bit of a mission and a vision. So you have to build your brand. Your brand needs to be solid and there has to be some sort of cohesiveness within that. And that's important for your staff. It's also important for clients.
Right.
Right. And I think this is what we disagreed with on the last podcast where we kind of got a little bit chippy. And it's not necessarily that Jen disagreed with that you need to have cohesion within your business, but it was the way I think I delivered the point. But either way, people, like if they know you have meetings once a year, once a month, once a day, whatever it is that you want to have them, because I see wild stuff out there. If they know that's coming, they feel like they can have a connection with you, right? Because you're building that connection. If you're approachable, you're not just behind the chair slogging away, because that's not going to work either. You have to have time for your staff. You have to have time. How many times, Jen, have you sat down and take a lunch and you have to
mid-bite
work through problems with somebody? Yeah. So it's constant, but guess what? That's part of being an owner.
I get up with a smile and I'm like, yep, I will help you. What do you need? Every time. That's my job.
I'm not even talking about getting up. Sometimes they just need to talk through something that's not even
Yesterday was
to the
some help with a haircut. But yeah, it just depends, right? We had one of our staff yesterday, she had messaged and I was in the salon, Todd wasn't, like, can I just chat with you real quick? And wanted to work through some ideas for her future and how she maybe could be at the salon more. And just was like, I just need to talk through this. I'm going to talk to my mom tonight, but I needed to talk to you first, and like, sure. I'm like, I got 15 minutes. You want to use it? It's yours.
Yeah, being available for your team and building that culture, because again, everybody wants to drop that C word, right? I have the best culture. Do you? If it's not clear to your team what it looks like, then it's not the best.
Correct.
So, and again, it's just, you just need to work on it. You just need to build it. It's not the end of the world, but it could be part of why you're not retaining staff.
Yes.
For sure.
Agreed.
What else do we have going on?
I think I have something that sort of works with employees, but also just could help you create a wider foundation in your business. But I want to just touch on this real quick, is that we talked about turnover a little bit. Yes, we have to invest in our staff. That's just where it's at. And you're going to have to get over feeling salty when those people leave and realize that that's part of running a business and being a leader in your business. It's just going to happen, but you can't not invest in these people's future with education and getting them where you want them to be because you're afraid they're all going to go. If that's where you're sitting, you might want to decide if you still want to run your business. The minute you get over that and just realize, like, get them more successful, eventually you'll have the right people or you have the right systems to replace them when they do leave. And you're just like, I wish you luck. And that's totally fine. That's where we sit today. Anyone that leaves, for the most part, wish them luck unless they're not nice, like a bully. But for the most part, hey, I hope everything is as good as you hope it to be wherever you're going, But I also wanted to touch on, I had talked about this in the last podcast, but it's not really about employee retention, but is this station sharing that we do. And I do think this is really important for culture in your business. So I see a lot of salons out there. They're a 6-station salon, so they think they have to hire 6 people. And you're selling yourself short, because then what happens if you only have 6 stylists? Let's say you fill all your stations and 1 or 2 leave. It's going to hurt your business. Really, the impact financially is really, really big, right? So if you station share, like I say all the time too, everyone has to work a Saturday. You don't have to work Saturdays if you don't want to at our salon. We have people that work every other. I would be fine if it's once. If they don't, it doesn't matter. So with station sharing, we're able to be open. We are now 7 days, which means people work 3 to 4 shifts a week. That's about it. That's where they should be. Any more, I think, is too much, in my opinion. But it allows us to have a staff. I think there's 15 of us in total, which is a fairly big staff. But then daily when we're open, it feels nice and small. But also it allows, if 1 or 2 people were to leave, the impact on the business isn't as large, isn't felt as big. And again, I said, we're interviewing all the time. We have a wait list. Now we're kind of like, who wants to interview next? Or we have people that might be at 3 shifts in our salon that are like, can I pick up the 4th? I would love that day. And it's created this wonderful scenario where the idea of people leaving doesn't cross my mind and isn't scary, because we have brought in our base enough to really help protect the business. So just something to consider. And if you don't know how to do that, we're happy to sit and chat and explain how we create that at our business and how it's become very successful.
I'll give it to you in a nutshell. Stop hiring to fill chairs, hire to build your culture.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you have 10 chairs, great. Don't look for 10 stylists. Look for people that fit your mission. Look for people that want to help you get to your vision. Look for people that align with your core values. That's it. That's it. That's in a nutshell, what you need to do. And if you don't have those things, get those things.
Yeah.
If you have those things, use them.
Mm-hmm.
If you have those things and maybe you're like, I don't know if this is what I feel any longer, well, revisit it. It's okay to pivot in business. It's okay to change your direction.
It's important to do that.
Agreed. Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
We're working through ours. By we, I mean me. Our mission and core values and vision, because we've been doing this now for going on 6 years, and I just felt like it was time. We needed a little update.
Mm-hmm.
I think it goes back to our staff too. They feel like we're not just set it and forget it owners.
Right. Mm-hmm.
We're actively pursuing, how do we make this better? How do we create more opportunity for people? How do we bring more opportunity to more people?
Right.
And you could get in a situation when you hire the wrong people, and we have had this in the past, but we've worked through it, where people get almost salty. They have some sort of animosity. And I've been asked before, how many people are you guys going to hire? And I know it comes from a place of scarcity, because they're thinking, well, now I'm not going to get all the clients. Like we don't have people that think like that. I've been asked before when we're hiring, Jen, how does new clients work?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And they're like, well, a new client comes in, who gets it? And I'm like, interesting.
Yeah.
You think there's some sort of rotation. What we do is we consult with the person and see who the best fit is for them.
Yeah.
So
if you're coming in and bringing us into the table and you're just asking, what do we give you? Like, okay, hold up here.
Yeah, a little bit of a red flag there. I don't think it's necessarily like an invalid question. I do think it's important to know where clients are coming from in a salon, because that's how you're going to make money and grow. But I also think it's important to simmer down and bring something, like Jen's saying, bring something to the table first. Yeah, that's all I had to say about that. Is that it?
Yeah, I think the last 2 things I have is, at the end of the day, you have to bring the fun factor, right? Like, there's got to be some element of fun coming into your salon that makes people want to be there, and treating people like hair pros. We've talked about this a bunch. I just see like next generation, they're lazy, they don't want to do anything. And if you bring that negative energy, you're never going to grow or hire the right people because you're bringing in the negative energy. So I'm super careful in our salon to, these are our next generation of hair pros. What do they need? What can I offer them? How can I grow them? I think you just got to change that mindset, and they're not going to work like you did 25 years ago. And maybe they shouldn't. When I started 25 years ago in the first salon, we were judged, or I was going to graded, but basically my meetings were all about every 15 minutes. How can you fill this spot? I don't want to be coaching our staff on every 15 minutes. How can you fill this spot? That's not fun. And if I did do that, we'd have nobody. So, making sure that you're bringing in the good energy, because it starts with you, and that you're treating the people that are working with you like professionals. Because if you treat them that way, they will reach up to that. They'll want to be at that level. So I guess just kind of self-evaluate sort of what you're bringing in for energy to your business.
Yeah. And the leadership component's not optional.
Yeah.
You have
Suck
to
it up,
understand your
Buttercup.
business. You need what?
Suck it up, Buttercup. Like, you just got to
Yeah.
do it.
So you have to understand your business. You have to understand your numbers, because here's what's going to happen. You're going to go in those Facebook groups and be like, I'm paying 80% commission.
Oh,
How come I'm not attracting stylists? Don't chase that. Again, you're just trying to beat someone else's commission. So if someone does 40, you're going to do 45. If someone does 80, you're going to do what? 85? Like, it doesn't make sense. So, and you want to talk about the younger generation. Let's lean into the younger generation and what they want. For them, culture is more important than your commission.
mm-hmm.
And I know, because we've had people take less money in their commission to begin. They make more money now, but take less to start, because they bought into our culture. They bought into our vision and what we were doing. And now they're more successful than I would say if they went to somewhere else,
Right.
because we're constantly building people.
Yep.
But if you don't have an awareness of your numbers, if you don't know what you can afford to pay, and if you just are guessing on a commission structure because someone down the street has one and it seems to work for them, even though you're not in their salon, but you see their social media and I guess that's good enough for you, then you're going to run into trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So know your shit. Anyways, all right, get on our newsletter and all that fun stuff, and let's wrap up. So we went a little long, but apologies, and sorry again for having to repost this episode. But hope you guys enjoyed, and hope somebody out there got
something out of
some
it.
value out of it.
Yeah.
All right, reach out if you need help. Bye, everyone.
Bye.